Mm. Uh, hey, what's up, guys? My name is Qolinto, and it's finally here, my Super Mario Brothers 2 review, and boy, this is a big one. No joke. Literally, when I started editing this, it was over 100 minutes. Pretty big, I know. And you're probably wondering, why did it take such a long time? Well, it was a bunch of different things like school and stuff like that, but this is the reason you're looking for. Mother 3, the sequel to my favorite game of all time. Excited to get it. Play on my DS Lite and Game Boy Advance. Beat it. Pretty good. I will have to say, this is definitely the better game between this and Earthbound. But I still favor Earthbound better. I don't know why that is, I just do. And now it stays there. Anyways. Mario 2, am I right? During the development of Super Mario Bros. 2, The Lost Levels, a new employee at Nintendo, Kensuke Tanabe, created a prototype of a platformer engine where instead of scrolling horizontally like many other platformers, the game would scroll vertically. Unfortunately, it didn't get much interesting gameplay, it was difficult to program, and it wasn't that fun to play alone. So the prototype was shelved. That was until the summer of 1987. Fuji Television was celebrating a festival that would promote their TV programs and would even have costumed events. They wanted merchandise to coincide with the festival, so they went up to Nintendo to ask them to make a game starring their mascot, the Dream Factory family. Tanabe was directing the project, and Miyamoto told him to create something that was just like a Mario game and make it fun as well. The game was released to critical success. Its name was Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic, or Dream Factory Heart Pounding Panic. Many complimented how it was like a Mario game, since the gameplay was very similar to Mario. It didn't help that there were references to Mario like invincibility stars, coins, and POW blocks. Heck, at some point in development, Miyamoto thought it was too similar to Mario. Since Nintendo of America was actually looking for a game to be the American sequel to Super Mario Bros., Nintendo of Japan thought it would be a great idea to modify Doki Doki Panic to be more like a Mario game, by changing some sprites for some blocks, items, enemies, and of course changing the Dream Factory family to Mario characters. They also added a run button and a few animations. They sent it to Nintendo of America and they absolutely loved it, and released it internationally. It was also a bit difficult to find during the holiday season of 1988. Heck, there was even a news report where the reporter tried to find a copy of the game. Here, take a look.
Success, but first he had to find one.
New York City, early in the morning. Before the toy stores open, they're lined up outside. I'm in line too because the director of 2020 said, "Stossel, I hate to ask, but you've got to help me get my kid a copy of Super Mario Bros. 2. This man came all the way from Indiana to get one.
You came 1,000 miles just for this game?
Yes. I've done 7 stores a day for 3 weeks now. I cannot find it.
I have to live with my kids for the rest of the year, so I have to have this on Christmas Day.
So to please the kids, they line up at the few stores that have been able to get copies of the hottest Nintendo games, Mario 2 and The Adventure of Link.
Surprisingly, the story isn't about Mario saving the princess from Bowser. In fact, Bowser isn't even in this game. Mario finds himself on a staircase leading up to a door. He finds the inhabitants of a place called Subcon telling him about this evil frog called King Wart, who is trying to take over Subcon. And then all of a sudden, Mario wakes up. Because it was all a dream. Sweet. The next day, Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Toadstool are having a picnic lunch on a mountain. They start exploring a cave when they find a stairway to a door very similar to the one in Mario's dream. When they walk through the door, they end up in Subcon. So they decide to defeat Wart from taking over Subcon. Well, that was a story from 1988, but hey, it's a video game, so let's talk about it. The controls feel a bit floaty all around. Every character feels different. Mario is the most balanced character of the bunch because of course he is. Luigi is weaker than Mario but can jump the highest. Princess Toadstool is the slowest and weakest character but can float for a bit. And Toad has the worst jump but is the fastest and strongest of the gang. There's also this new move that everyone can now do where you hold down for a few seconds and then when the character starts glowing, you can jump higher than usual. The levels are huge in this game. You can go in any direction, even left, which in the first game was an impossibility for some dumb reason. Instead of jumping on the enemies, you pick them up and throw them at other enemies, or to their demise. Of course, you can also pick up vegetables from the ground and throw them. Sometimes you'll find bombs, one-ups, spaceships, and even magic potions. These potions can take you to a subspace area where you can find coins, and if you're in the right spot, a mushroom, which adds another hit point to your life bar. Oh yeah, that's right, there's also a life bar now. You start out with 2 hit points, but you can gain more with the mushrooms. Sadly, the fire flower does not make a return in this game. This soundtrack is very catchy and upbeat. I think I like the music here more than the first one. There are these vase things where if you press down when you're on top of one, it will go inside, kind of like a pipe from the first game. You'll mainly find some creepy masks called Phantos surrounding a key. When you grab the key, one of the masks will start chasing you. Sometimes if you're in subspace, you can warp through vases to another world. Speaking of enemies, none of them return from Mario 1. But we have a bunch of new ones like Shy Guys, Sniffits, Ostros, Bob-ombs, Pokies, and even everyone's favorite transgender dinosaur thing, Birdo. At the beginning of the game, he spits out eggs, but starting near the end of the game, he spits out eggs and fireballs. Then other times, he only spits fireballs, so you have to throw blocks at him. Yeah, I'm gonna stop that joke. Birdo is the end stage boss. When you beat him, he drops an orb which will end the level. Then you pick it up and walk into the exit, which is a bird face, of all things. If you get coins in a level, you'll play a bonus game, but they're impossible to match something in a row. And somehow I actually got something in a row on accident, just mashing the buttons. I don't know. Anyways, if you get 5 cherries, an invincibility star will appear with an all-new head boppin' remix. Randomly in a stage, if you're low on health, then a heart will float into the sky. There are not as many levels as there are in Mario 1. In fact, there are a total of 20 levels. And instead of being Bowser over and over again, they actually have different bosses in each end of the world that sometimes repeat themselves. Of course, there's Mauser, who just throws bombs and you have to throw them back. There's Tricollide, who spits fireballs. There's Fry Guy, who jumps all over the place and splits into mini Fry Guys, which is kind of annoying. And Claw Grip, or as the credits call him, Claw Glip. He just throws rocks, and he was replaced in Mario 2 for a harder Mauser. Let's move on to the last level, 7-2. That's what I would say, but I think I need to talk a bit about 7-1. Jesus, mother of God! 7-1, 7-1 in itself is harder than the later half of Super Mario Bros. 2 The Lost Levels! It took me literally 20 minutes to finish this level. The first part wasn't too bad, but everything after the Albatross ride can go drown in the volcano! The section where you're walking with the Shy Guys was one of the hardest parts in the game due to all the snippets. But the crowning award for everlasting suckery in this game goes to the part where you have to stack blocks while you have to deal with these sparks zipping right past you at the speed of sound. They're so goddarn annoying that I almost cracked my controller to 7 1/3 pieces! Sorry about that. Anyways, the last level, by the way, is a maze of difficulty. Door, enemies, door, enemy, enemies, door, Birdo, exit, fighting the egg. Wait, what? Did I mention that you only have 3 lives and 2 continues with no password or save feature? When in Mario 1 you had a continue cheat, and in the last levels you had infinite continues. And even in Doki Doki Panic you had a save system. Anyways, then you finally get towards Throne Room with his magical Dream Machine, which is the source of his power, somehow. The Dream Machine shoots out vegetables, so you can grab them and throw the vegetables into his mouth so he chokes on them. Talk about being a 5-year-old. Anyways, when you do it like 5 times and he dies, Mario walks into a room and saves the inhabitants of Subcon, which are trapped in a vase? Anyways, Mario and crew celebrate with the inhabitants of Subcon taking care of Wart. Then it turns out the entire game was a dream. Wow! I'm very sorry about that. All in all, this game is fantastic. It's slightly better than Mario 1 and definitely better than the Lost Levels. Speaking of the Lost Levels, I actually got it for the Switch Online NES or whatever you call it. I don't know what I was thinking when I reviewed it because I now actually kind of like the game. Maybe it was the emulation on my dad's Mac. I don't like it as much as Mario 1, of course, but it's pretty enjoyable for me. I'll re-rate the game and give it a 6 out of 10. Oh yeah, and I forgot about Mario 2. 8.5 out of 10. God, I need a shower.
Hey, paisanos! It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show! With the Mario Brothers
And that, everyone, was Super Mario Brothers 2 USA. Now, this game was huge. Tons of merchandise, like toys, clothes, their Nintendo cereal system, which also had a Zelda promotion thing. And that, but it actually became the 3rd best-selling game on the NES. Yeah, kind of weird to think about that. And later, in 1993, yeah, I know, a long time, it actually got a release in Japan under the name Super Mario USA. Makes me proud to be an American, and that's where the USA name comes from. Like later in around 1992. Anyways, Nintendo released a strategy guide for the previous Mario games, which is about Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario World, called
Mario
wasn't the
Mania.
actual Mario 2. And in the bottom corner of a page, they said that Mario 2 was actually Doki Doki Panic. Yeah, killed it right then and there. Of course, before that, some magazines and newspaper articles talked about the localization, but it wasn't really well known until then, and this led people to think, wow, so Mario 2 isn't a real Mario game? Got ripped off! Well, first off, Japan got more ripped off than we did. Yeah. Think about this. So, you get a game called Doki Doki Panic for your Famicom Disk System, and you're like, huh, whoa, this game is awesome! And then, years later, you get Super Mario USA, and you're like, huh, this game looks cool. Put it in your Famicom, turn it on, then you realize that it's just a ROM hack. It's just Doki Doki Panic with Mario characters. It gave Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Toadstool uniform looks. Right, I mean, and it even introduced some popular enemies in Mario game. Like, it gave us Birdo, the Shy Guys, Bomb sort of right. It wasn't originally a Mario game. But so it's not a real Mario game. Inspired by Mario. It was created by the same people with a grain of salt. And if you're wanting to play this game for yourself, well, of course, use the original. You're going to emulate it on a computer. It's on the Virtual Console for 3DS and Wii U. It's on the Nintendo Switch Online service. But there's also Super Mario All-Stars, which is not the definitive version of it. Yeah, believe it or not. Super Mario All-Stars has the definitive version of Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers 2 The Lost Levels, but not to USA. No, the definitive version of that game is Super Mario Advance. Basically a port of the version of Mario 2 on the All-Stars game, remake, whatever, but on the Game Boy Advance. Believe it or not, it was actually a launch title for the Game Boy Advance. It's pretty cool. Well, now, why is it better? Well, it has a better save system than All-Stars, because in All-Stars it saved at the beginning of the world, when in Advance it saves whenever you want to. Plus, it also comes with a remake of the Mario Brothers arcade game, which wasn't every Advance game, but
Do the Mario swing your
which
arms
concludes
from side to
this
side.
review.
Come on, it's time
And
to
next
go.
time,
Do the Mario
we'll be
take
heading into
one
Mario
step,
Kart.
and then again,
Favorite
let's do
NES
the
game.
Mario all together now. You got it. It's the Mario. Do the Mario swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario.
Okay, how am I
take
supposed to end this
one
off?
step,
I just
and then again, let's do
just
the
say
Mario all together now. Come on now, just like that.
fade into this